Sunday is beach day in San Juan, and many people here, like the Torres family, don't let anything change that. Not even a vote on whether Puerto Rico should be a US state or independent.
I didn't go to vote today. I've always voted in every election that I saw as legitimate, but I don't think today's election is valid at all because the United States Congress isn't going to validate this referendum. So many people are going to leave work to go and vote, so the vote is costing $7 million and isn't worth anything.
Puerto Rico is a US territory, and its residents are US citizens. But it doesn't receive any money from Washington, D.C., and that's what its government wants to change.
We'll use this vote, which will ratify the 2012 vote, to ensure that the democratic will of the American citizens who live in Puerto Rico is carried out.
The tiny island is buried under $70 billion of debt and 22 lawsuits from creditors who want their money back. The government's reduced pension and unemployment payments to pay back some of what it owes. But the economy's been shrinking for more than a decade and unemployment remains high, so these spending cuts are particularly painful. And even those who voted on Sunday know their troubles are far from over.
It's not like we're going to run out right now and Congress is going to resolve this overnight. It's a process that will take several years, but we have to send a message that we want to end our colony status.
Analysts say the US Congress is unlikely to support Puerto Rico's bid for statehood, but the vote builds pressure on it to resolve the island's financial troubles.
We need an agreement that recognizes the interests of all parties, getting the funds needed to ensure that Puerto Rico can create a climate of credibility and investment on the island.
A federal court will soon decide on a request to restructure Puerto Rico's debt. The island's inhabitants have spoken. Now they're hoping US lawmakers will lend an ear to their troubles. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
For more on this, I'm joined by Vicente Feliciano from the Puerto Rican capital, San Juan. He's the president of Advantage Business consulting firm. Vicente, thank you very much for joining us on Money Talks. What seems to be a historic moment for Puerto Rico, but is it going to really do anything to help Puerto Rico dig itself out of this phenomenal economic crisis?
Well, thank you for the invitation to this show. It really won't. In fact, it works, the forces work the other way around. Because Puerto Rico is in economic crisis, when representatives of Puerto Rico go to Congress and say, we want to become a state, Congress will probably look at it and say, you know, fix your economic problem first, and then we will talk about statehood later. It is worth pointing out that Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens. We can travel, we have U.S. passport, we can travel freely into the U.S., and many Puerto Ricans, because of the economic conditions in Puerto Rico, have emigrated to the U.S.
But from what you're saying, it sounds like Puerto Ricans are in a catch-22. If they can't improve their economy, they're not going to be able to get statehood and vice versa.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. In fact, a lot of the marketing campaign for statehood was, you know, if you vote for statehood, we're going to get, or you're going to get, more welfare benefits. Now, that acts as a restraint on congressmen to say, come on board. The U.S. has other jurisdictions that are not contiguous to the 48 states. They have Hawaii as a state, they have Alaska as a state, but both jurisdictions, when they asked to join the nation, they were self-supporting. At this point, Puerto Rico is through a bankruptcy process, and it is unlikely that congressmen will be enthusiastic about admitting as a state jurisdiction that would automatically require help.
So let's talk a little bit about that bankruptcy process. Puerto Rico claimed that form of bankruptcy protection a short while ago, but has that helped in any way, or have things been just rumbling along as they always have done in Puerto Rico?
the bankruptcy process has been very helpful. It's like surgery. You don't want to go through surgery, but there comes a time, and given certain circumstances, that you require surgery. And in order to make the debt sustainable, we need to put away part of the debt through a debt restructuring process. And bankruptcy helps into that. Puerto Rico is a territory. It cannot go through the help of the International Monetary Fund or international institutions, but Congress approved a bankruptcy process that is special for Puerto Rico, and we just filed for it. Eventually, what you would get is debt that is sustainable, and therefore the economy growing again.
Okay, very quick question. Are they going to be able to keep their creditors at bay using this process?
So far they have. So far they have, like in a bankruptcy process or a U.S. bankruptcy process, once you file, all litigation stops. And you have to go through the bankruptcy judge, and this woman will have power to ascertain, okay, we're going to give this amount to the creditors, and the government needs it to run and offer essential services. So yes, the bankruptcy keeps creditors at bay.
Vicente Feliciano from San Juan, thank you very much indeed for your time on Money Talks.